Alright, so today I'm going into Vromans, which is a Pasadena, LA bookstore that I absolutely adore. Yeah, come follow with me. And so here we are, my favorite bookstore in all of LA. Gonna open this door, gonna walk through. I hope you enjoy my voiceover as I walk in here and do a terrible job at keeping a steady cam. Can you tell I'm sort of still getting comfortable at the whole thing? So these are some of the most popular books of 2021. Oh look, I recorded the sign. And I'm just giving you like a little guide. I still haven't read that Matt Haig book, but I was thinking about it. And here is the Wall of Fame. I honestly, they do such a great job with giving recommendations on this feature wall. This is the one eye-catching thing that you'll always see in the entrance, and it's always changing. Typically, I am grabbing at least one of these books when I'm buying over here. But just to give you like a little look-see, this is one of the books I've already read, Killers of the Flower Moon. It's sort of about the creation of the FBI. Not giving away too much, but I listened to the audiobook. It was a good read. We keep going, we keep looking. Polaris Rising, I bought, but I haven't read yet. I heard it's very space opera-like. Song of Solomon is another one on my to-read list. Here's one I have read, but here's Rebecca, another thing on my to-read list. I have a lot to read. An example of one of the recommendations and why they suggest it, and typically what employees suggested it, which I just love because it gives a personal touch to each one. And so this is me actually grabbing a book I'm going to buy. I had been thinking about this for a while, Hamnet, talking about Shakespeare's son that died. I gave you a little bit of the back of the book, grabbed it, and went on with my life. So they have the cutest journals here, except this one was $45, and I was like, nah, man, cute, but I can't. Here is one of the knickknack shelves. They always have a cat and a dog side, so here's the cat side. And I'm continually in love with both. I have a small dog. If you already knew that, well, now you know it again. Here's a Bookish Cats, cute little bag, some literary references, and what's a bookstore without a board game setup? Let's be honest. Got some of the classics. Codenames is one of my favorite. Highly recommend. Yeah. And so we're back to the dog side. A journal that I was thinking about getting. I am one of those writers that just buys a lot of notebooks and never writes in them because I have a problem. But so do so many other writers. That was more recently priced. I think it was like $14. With a lot more artisanal bookstores, I suppose. The prices are higher, but it is really nice to know that you're supporting a local business, even though this is huge. It's been around LA for the longest time, and it's just a staple, especially in Pasadena itself. It's an experience, you go for the experience. And I do always end up buying something. And here's a mug. I have a huge mug collection. It's a dog that says "Be nice to me" if you couldn't read it. So they have a pretty impressive selection of tarot books and books on magic, and being able to read tarot cards, the occult, so-and-so. I love the study of tarot. I haven't mastered it in any form or way, but would love to learn. And this is just me looking sort of at their selection. And then going to the opposite side, you get some metaphysics and paranormal section stuff. They have the lore series, which I've watched some of the Amazon series. The first season's great. The second season's so-so, but highly recommend because it has some just historical context. And cryptozoology, something else I've been meaning to read. We've got a Paranormal America and UFOs, stuff on Bigfoot, you know, everything that's real, totally. Oh, and I think that said like the Book of the Dead or something. Again, I'm getting used to this whole framing and vlogging thing, so please be patient with me. Just continuing to look. So I'm just exploring a little more. Most of the first floor is all the fiction and pretty much all the books you'd want. The second floor has some like jewelry and other knickknacks in the kids section. Here are the crime picks. I've actually read a good number of these, which we'll get to my reading list in a few minutes, but Devil in White City is something I've read. This Truman Capote in Cold Blood I've been meaning to read for the longest time. Just taking it in. So I squat down because I saw this one book, The Best New True Crime Stories, which is about serial killers. Though I feel like I've read all there is to read about serial killers, I continue reading. And so over here we have some stuff on Zodiac. Killers of the Flower Moon is in the corner again. Road to Jonestown, need to read that. Haven't read Helter Skelter, but I have read I'll Be Gone in the Dark. It's phenomenal. And the story of Michelle McNamara, just her process is heartbreaking, but a really interesting story in itself. I won't ruin it, but highly recommend. Sort of the tangential story of that serial killer and the author. So here we are, some more featured books. I am currently reading this one, The Song of Achilles. And she also wrote Circe, which I've been meaning to pick up, but obviously I should finish The Song of Achilles first. And can I just say, like, those covers are gorgeous. And so moving further, we have the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. I read this. This was Grady Hendrix. This was the same one as like My Best Friend's Exorcism. I have some feelings on this book that I will not go into today. But I will say that it led me not to read his Final Girls book. And so we're continuing to move. Some other new releases. And this I found interesting. I was just reading the back. Debating, and putting it back down. The Night Watchman, also something, this was sort of the first time I actually took the moment to read the back, and I was like, oh, I would read this. Didn't buy it today. Currently in my quote-unquote cart, aka my hand, is Hamnet. And we're walking again. There was a Dune section, big surprise. That is so hard to get through. But the movie's cool. And so this is my favorite section, the horror section. I always spend the longest in here. Cackle is a 2021 release that's made the top Goodreads this year. Hex is something I've tried to get through and I could not. So I have a thing with horror and animals dying in horror for plot devices. I cannot stand it at all. And if you're thinking, well, isn't that just a thing in horror? Like animals dying for a creepy factor? You know what? It doesn't have to be. You don't have to make that a thing. You can still have a horror book and not have a death of an animal to sort of exhibit a bad protagonist. Anyway, I'll step off my soapbox. We're continuing to look. John dies in the end. I've been meaning to read, but I watched the movie and loved it. Here's some more recommendations. I saw the recommendation for this one, which was underneath. It's called Hater, and I found it pretty interesting. So this, I read the back, and I'm adding it to my cart, aka what I'm carrying today. Reading. I'm a slow reader. Cool. I like it. Grab it. So continuing to look at what's here, you got some Dean Koontz, you got some Stephen King, of course. You got some of Stephen King's son, Joe. I always forget. Hell House, which I haven't read, but I have watched the Hell House LLC movies, and that's what it made me think of. And also made me think of Hill House, and I think that has nothing to do with either of those properties. So this is one of my favorite reads in the past 2 years, The People's History of the Vampire Uprising. It's very much in the vein of World War Z and sort of a political commentary on society, but a supernatural or monster entering society and how that would all go down. And that Last House on Needless Street, I purchased it, have not read it yet. I purchased it recently, so it's just sort of sitting on my shelves. Paperbacks from Hell, another Grady Hendrix. I have not read that one. That was before one of his earlier ones. And so there's some more knickknacks. This store it just has so many really cool small things that if you have unlimited money, you'd buy everything. Great notebooks, great stickers, me just idolizing this. The one thing I came in here actually wanting to buy was a book logger, like a book that I can log my reads. Here's the indie section. Just a nice little shout out to indies. They have a nice tea collection too, a lot of Republic of Tea stuff. Here are the journals. Now, they have rows and rows of journals. A lot of my footage came out really shaky, but this is what I could show you without just giving you the worst experience possible. I have a big plant collection. I have a plant video coming out soon, but these are some really beautiful journals. I don't need any, but I'm looking at them anyway. Big surprise there. And they also have a good collection of greeting cards here that are really pretty. Got some leather-bound journals, pencils, pens. They also, I didn't have a chance to record their pen section, but they do have a big collection of pens you can buy, like true writer pens that are hundreds of dollars. And finally, I found the bibliophilia section. Wanted to find my book that I could log books. That was all I got. Sorry for the not great ending, but I mean, thanks for following me. And until next time, guys, see ya.